Yo, what's up? Welcome to the MPACT podcast. It's your boy, Coach A. Again, back at it again. Again, we want you to have an impact. So we always talking about the things that help you have an impact. Let me go ahead and so I want to share this a couple of times, make sure I get a couple more viewers in before we talk about attitude. What's your attitude? Attitude is very important. Like it's better than education. It's better than skill set. Attitude is the most valuable commodity that we have, that we own. And most people, the average person, probably don't realize that. They probably don't understand just how important your attitude is. In fact, everything that happens in your environment and around you is actually filtered through your attitude. So that's why it's important that you have the proper attitude, so that whenever you have different situations or you're dealing with things, you have the proper attitude or the proper actions toward that. And it starts by having the right attitude. So it's important if you want to reach a high level of success. I'm not talking basic success. I'm talking reaching high levels like financial security, financial freedom, running businesses, retiring from running your own business, things like that. In order for you to get to that level, you have to have the right attitude. You got to have the right attitude, because everything is filtered to that. You can have two people go through the same situation. Two people can go through the same situation, and one person can feel like their life is over. They can feel like they can't do it anymore. They're not going to make it. And you can have another person go through the same situation, and they'll get encouraged. They'll encourage themselves. They'll fight harder. They'll work harder. That person has the right attitude. That's the only difference between the two, is the attitude. And it's very important, because again, it's your filter. Each situation is filtered through your attitude. And so that's why it's important to have the right attitude. So here at Impact, again, welcome to Impact Podcast. It's your boy, Coach A. And so here at Impact, we picked a lion as our logo. And the reason we picked the lion is because the lion embodies the attitude that we want. It embodies the attitude for success. It embodies the proper attitude that we should have towards life. So I want you to think about the lion for a minute. The lion is known as the king of the jungle. But why is the lion the king of the jungle? See, the lion's not the smartest animal in the jungle. It's definitely not the strongest animal in the jungle. And nor is the lion the smartest animal. But yet the lion is the king. He pretty much runs things. And so that's why it's important to understand your attitude. The lion is the king because of its attitude, the way it feels about himself. How do you feel about yourself? See, when a lion sees an elephant, the elephant is bigger, stronger, probably more powerful as well. But yet the lion is not concerned with the size of the elephant. Is not concerned with the weight, any of those things. The only thing the lion sees is that it's lunch. And so because of that attitude, he acts the way he thinks, and he ended up eating the elephant for lunch. So it don't matter your size, it don't matter your strength or how smart you are. None of these things matter when it comes to success. The biggest thing that matters is your attitude. What's your attitude? Do you feel like a lion and you feel like the world is the sheep? Or do you feel like a sheep and the world is the lion? Very important, because our situations are filtered through our attitudes. And if you don't watch your attitude, you won't even have the belief system that you can accomplish, that you can do whatever it is you set out to do. And it starts with your attitude. So knowing that each of these situations in our lives is filtered to our attitude, we want to make sure we have the right attitude. So what is the right attitude to have? Well, there isn't but two separate types of attitudes that you can have. You can either be positive towards the situation, or you can be negative towards the situation. And so if you split them up, all the emotions and feelings that we get can either fall in either category. They can either be positive feelings or negative feelings. And so it's important that we understand that even though, we might feel like we're justified in having a bad attitude because of the situation, that it still doesn't benefit us. It's not going to get us anywhere. Again, looking back at the lion, because he has a positive attitude, a courageous attitude, all those are positives. When he does what he wants with no fear. And so looking at the elephant, because the elephant has a negative attitude when introduced to the lion, he fears. And so what ended up happening is the lion ended up winning based on attitude alone. Even though the other animal, the elephant, is bigger and stronger, his own mind, his own attitude keeps him in fear. And so that's what happens with a lot of people, is that their own attitude towards life, towards their situation, keeps them in the same place. So I've been in I've been doing taxes, running the tax office for over 17 years, 18 years. And so I have a lot of customers that been coming to me for like 10, 12 years. I even have some that have been with me since the beginning. And so what I noticed is that often the customers they're doing the same thing year after year. Their status never changes. They don't make no more money. They sometimes don't advance. Not all of my customers, not all, but a great deal of them. They don't expand. And so a lot of them, they come to me and they don't understand why. They don't understand why am I in the same situation I've been for years, 5, 6, 7 years. Decent jobs. I mean, some of them have decent jobs, but in order for them, they want to do better. They want to either make more money. They want to own their own business, but they just don't. And the reason being is because of their attitude. What is your attitude? How do you view yourself? Do you view yourself do you think your business, if you start a business, do you believe it's not going to be successful? If you write a book, I know people that should be writing books that talk about writing books. Are you in fear that nobody's going to buy your book? That's a bad attitude. Your attitude should be courageous. Your attitude should be whatever it is that you set your mind to do, you're going to accomplish it. That's actually how the world works, with being consistent and persistent. That wins. And that comes from having a persistent attitude. And so I see these people year after year struggling. They can't wait to get their tax refund because that's the biggest payday that they get. It's the biggest, almost the greatest joy in their life, just from receiving that tax refund. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with that, but I'm saying until your attitude changes, your situation is not going to change. You have to view yourself in a different light. You have to have a better attitude. And so often they tell me they want to run a business. They say I'm gonna open a business. So I say, okay, well, what kind of business are you gonna open? What you want to do? And so, you know, we sit there and discuss different ideas, different ways that they can start their business, different ways that, you can get going. But yet once they leave and they go back to their own environment, it's like the environment swallows them up. Almost like the culture just like smothers your potential. It smothers your talent or your gift. And so you have to be able to fight through that with the proper attitude at the same time. You can't be the sheep or you can't be the elephant. You have to be the lion. You have to constantly be the lion in every aspect because it's all filtered again. Your attitude, your every situation is filtered through your attitude. So how you going to view when somebody come up to you and talk to you and tell you, "Hey, that idea that you have, it sucks," or that idea that you have, my cousin, they already tried that, and there's no money in that, or I've seen somebody do that and they're struggling, or that costs too much, or that's going to take a long time. How you going to respond when people speak to you in that manner? They put those things on your ideas. How you going to respond? And see, in order and unless you have the right attitude, that can kill your dream. That can kill your plans. It can kill your goals. So it's important to keep your attitude in check and to understand what type of attitude that you have. So in doing so, um, one of the things I realized that one way to keep your attitude positive or focused is you have to be around the same people. You got to be around like-minded people. If you want to start a business, then you should be looking for people that want to start a business or that have a business or that's running a business already. You got to surround yourself around those people so that they can constantly be encouraging to you and constantly teach you exactly how they made it. Now, each situation is different, but you can start your business. You can run your business. All you have to do, like I said, is surround yourself around those people. Whatever it is that you want to do, there's nothing new under the sun. I have a mentor. Believe it or not, I have a mentor. I have somebody that I reach out to and ask questions because I realize that there is a bridge. There's always a bridge from what you know right now over to what you don't know or what you need to know, right? And the only way you can bridge that gap or create a bridge, I would say that there's a gap. I'm sorry. There's a gap between what you know and what you don't know. And your success is over there where what you don't know lies. And so the only way you can get across that gap is by having a bridge. And sometimes, well, all the time, the bridge is a matter of learning from either the right person or reading the right material or surrounding yourself around the right people. And they'll help build you up and teach you exactly what you need to know. If you do that, then again, it'll make your success that much easier. It'll make your planning that much easier. So, but again, it starts with the proper attitude. The proper attitude will take you far. Again, it's the most valuable asset that we have is our attitude. It's also our, you can also replace the word attitude with spirit because it's like our influence. Everything that goes on in the in environment is influenced by our attitude. So I want you to think about your attitude. Do you need to change it? Right? If when you wake up in the morning and you get ready for work or school or whatever, when you get dressed, right? You get your hair done, um, put your clothes on. Right before you leave, you take a look in the mirror, just a quick look to see what you look like, make sure everything is in place. So if you see something out of place, you'll fix it. Maybe if you got some lint on your clothes, or, if you got some lint in your hair, wherever it is, you'll fix it. That's what the mirror is for. The mirror is a reflection. It shows a physical reflection of you, so you can correct any imperfections that you may have. So, what about in your life? What about in your life? Your environment. Your environment is that mirror that shows the reflection of your inside. See, the mirror shows the reflection of the outside, letting you know that there's something on the outside. There's something wrong with the outside. Could be again, could be something in your hair, something on your clothes, whatever the situation is. The mirror will show you that something's wrong. Well, how do you know, or what's going to show you that you have a bad attitude? And that's the environment, the different situations that's going on. You have to know how to read that. If you're always arguing with people, or you find it hard to get along with other people, or you always find yourself in the same situation over and over again, that's a reflection of your inside. There's something on the inside of you, your attitude, that needs to be changed, that needs to be fixed. And so just like when you look in the mirror and you see if you got some lint on your hair or on your clothes, you fix it, put everything back in place. We're supposed to do the same thing with our attitude. We're supposed to do a self-check with our attitude based on environment. If you do a self-check and find yourself, are you always arguing with people, or are you always finding yourself angry or mad at somebody? Or, at the store, you're looking for somebody to mess your order up, or, you always, these situations seems to follow you everywhere you go. You have to check that. And if you find out that that's you, then that means that reflection is showing you that there's something wrong on the inside of you. Either you have the wrong attitude and you need to fix that. You need to switch that, because that's what holds you back. It will hold you back from being as successful as you can be by having that type of attitude. And it's very important that we understand that. Most people just think that the environment, we're just reacting to the environment. But in actuality, the environment is reacting to us. That's what's going on. So you have to utilize that to do a self-check and see, I need to change my attitude. There's something going on within me. Because if you don't correct that, then you will not reach the highest level of success. I know a lot of people think that they can keep that negative attitude and just utilize it in one situation, and it's not going to affect you in another situation. And so they can have a successful career over here on the right, and and keep that same bad attitude on the other side. But you can't do that, because it's all connected. It's all connected. It's all in there. And eventually that attitude is going to come out, and you're going to suffer for it. So in many different ways. So that's why it's important that you do a self-check. See what type of attitude you have. You could tell from your friends. You could tell from your coworkers. If you're always getting into it with somebody, then you need to do a self-check. Believe me, your future depends on it. And it just depends on what your plans are. If you want to be basic and, you don't want to be highly successful, you don't want to, head towards financial freedom or make a lot of money or whatnot, then you can just keep the same attitude that you have. You can just keep the same mentality that you have, and things won't change. Things will definitely remain the same. Again, like I said, I know people that's been coming to me year after year after year, and there's no change. They didn't make, maybe but a 500-600 more dollars. I mean, they progress in life. Obviously, they progress. They might make $5,000 or $6,000 more than what they did last year, or even 10,000 more. But even when you make that amount, you still have the same situation. And the reason you can't get past that is because of your view, your attitude. How do you know, and so that's why it's important that we have the right attitude. So again, we're talking about the lion being the king. You want to be the lion. You want to be the lion while you're here. Fearless. That business, that book, whatever it is, that idea that you have, don't keep it inside. I heard somebody say that the most valuable place on earth was the graveyard. The most valuable place on earth was the graveyard, because that's where all the ideas, all the inventions, all the businesses, all those things were buried with people who never brought them out. They never had the courage to bring those ideas to life or to even try it. And so that's what I would say to you. Don't be that person. Don't be that person. You have something inside you that the world needs. And all it takes is the right attitude for you to bring it out. It's in there. We all have some type of gift or talent that we can use to serve the world. I call it fruit. What's your fruit? What's your fruit? We know that some of the fruit trees, the apple trees, the orange trees, they provide us with fruit, and they don't advertise. They don't do Facebook pages. They don't do any of those things. We just go right to where they are and pick them and enjoy them. So I would tell you that you will be the same way. Once you figure out what your fruit is, people are going to come to you. They're going to come to you, and they're going to want to know exactly. They want to see you do what you do. They're going to watch you. And so make sure you know what your fruit is. And again, it all stems on having the right attitude. All right. So that's about it for tonight. I was going to make it short today. We again making sure you stay focused on yourself and what your goals are. Always have a goal. Part of your attitude is having the right goal in mind. Because again, and I'm going to stop in a second, but again, you have to realize that your attitude, being that your attitude is the filter through your environment, have the right goals in place so that it's easy for you to have the right attitude. A lot of times we don't have goals or we don't have plans in place. And so that's where a lot of the stress and the bad attitude comes from, because we don't know what to do. We don't know what our next steps are. We don't know what we should do. Right? But if you have goals and plans in place, it makes it that much easier. That much easier. We should have a goal or a purpose for every area of our life. Every area of our life. Everything from relationship to careers, education, everything. So we should make sure that these things are driving us in the right direction. And your attitude is what's going to get you there. Having the right, the confident, positive attitude. All right. So that's it for Impact Live today. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you leave a comment or a suggestion. If you can, go to the YouTube page and, again, leave a comment, hit the like button, join the subscription. And you guys have a good night and have an impactful life. Peace out.